Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. And for today we will be working with the API, and for that let's open up our Postman over here. And you can see we have a couple of the API that we need to connect when we are using the ToDo API. So first of all, let's go to the get all of these to-dos, and then we have the update, and we have the delete, and also we have the add, right? So this is a post. So we have a get, put, delete, and the post. So basically we'll be using this four of this API. And for that, let's go back to our project over here, and in the features we will go to the to-dos, and we have the data, and we have the API. And in the API, let's create a new file. One will be of the interface, so let's create the I, and that will be of, let's say, to do, right? And to do API and strvic service.the file, and let's create that. And also I'll create the another file that will be of the implementation of this interface. So let's go and create a to do API. Okay, so it should be of the API underscore service.the file, and let us rename this one also. So it should be of the API underscore service.the file. So let's go to the interface over here, and let's create the interface over here. That will be of the abstract class, and let's call this one as the I to do API service. And once we have the interface, let us go and create the function. So we will return the future over here, and future will be of the type of the let me import the HTTP package over here first of all. So let's go and import the it will be of the HTTP package we need to import. So http.the and let's make this as the HTTP, so we can refer it as a HTTP over here, and I'll call the response. So we require the future of the response as the return type, and that will be of the get the. Okay, so let's go and grab the endpoint. So that will be of we want to get. So let's get this one, get to do list. Let's copy this one from here, and let us go and paste it over here, and let's take in the path. So we need to pass in the path over here. That will be of an int of the, let's say, ID, and that should be fine. And once we have this function, we require some more function, right? And let's duplicate this one. We require 4 function over here. One is to, another one would be to add. So let's go and get the endpoint. Let's go to the post over here. That will be add the to. So just copy that and paste it over here, and this takes the body, right? So if you go to the API endpoint over here, it takes the form data. So we need to pass in this as a key value here. So for that, we'll be using the map over here, and map will pass in as a string, and then the dynamic over here, and let's call this one as the body itself. And once we have this ready, so we have the to do, get the to do list, and then we have the to dos. And also let's go back over here. We have the option to update it. We need to pass in the prompts over here, or the on the query parameters, right? So let's go back over here, and that will be of the update the to dos over here. Let's go back and just paste it over here, and we need to pass in the as the map over here. So just copy and paste it over here, and let's this one pass it as a queries queries, and that would be good, I guess. And then we have an option to delete. So let's go back and let's grab that endpoint from here, and it will be of the to-dos. And we also need to pass in the hash map over, or the map over there. So let's say I delete the to-dos, and let's copy this one over here, and let's paste in over here. So that should be good. And let's go back to the API over here, and in the API let's go to the get the list, because we have two options. One is to get it with the get the to-do list, and I guess we have another option, get to-do list. So I guess this is not correct, so get to-dos it should be, not the list over here, and this should return as the pagination. So get the to-do list, and we have another option to get the to-dos, right? So that should be a different endpoint. Get the to-dos, and we need to pass in the ID as well. And let's take, so this will return as the pagination record. So we may be using the pagination later on, so let's grab this one instead of the simple list of the to-dos. So we'll be passing it this one over here, get the to-dos, that will return as the paginated data. So once we have this particularly the interface, what we need to do is we need to implement this one in the to-dos API service. So let's go over here and let's create the service class that will be of the class, and that will be of to-do API service over here, and we will implement our to-do service over here. And once we have that, we need to override all of our the four functions that we have in our interface. So let's go and override the missing functionality and just remove all of this unwanted code from here and here, and also from here, and we have one more which is of here. So now we have the four function, and let's go on to the top over here, and we require the since we are following the clean architecture, we will pass in the dependency over here. We are not going to create the instance over here. So let us pass in the dependency. So final I will make use of the, let's import the package over here, or we can just copy this one from here, and I need a HTTP package to make a API call. So once we have that, we'll just say http.the client final HTTP, right? And then HTTP dot the we'll call this client client over here, IENT client. And once we have this option, we need to pass into the constructor, inject it to the constructor. And yeah, so we have the constructor injection for our HTTP client. We need to provide it as a dependency, so later from our service locator we can pass in this dependency. And once we have this the client dependency, or the HTTP client dependency, we can call to the API. So let's go down and call our API from here. So let's go down over here, and I'll create a try catch block first of all. And with this try catch block, I will whenever I catch some error, I'll just rethrow it. And so I'll not catch the error over here. So whenever we have some error, I'm going to rethrow that particular error, and later on our the repository will be catching that error too. And once we have that, let's go over here, and we need to call the API from here. So let's go on to the top over here, and we have created a mixin already. So that will be of our mixin is, if you go to the let's go to the mixin, we have a mixin, URI mixin, right? So URI mixin. So let's copy this one, and we need it over here, and let's import that. Okay, so once we have that, we can make use of our final URL, and this URL final URL, which is equals to the get the URI, right? So we need to get the URI, and we need to pass in the path over here. So path will be the API endpoint that we have. So currently this is the add to to-dos, right? So let's go to the add or the add option, and let's copy the endpoint. So endpoint will be from here, right? This is the endpoint API. Just copy this endpoint from here to here, and just copy it, and let's bring back over here, and let us pass in the over here, and let's close it over here, and we have the this will return us the URI. And now we can just go down over here, right? And this will be of the return type. We will return from here. I'll wait since we need to make this one as the asynchronous call. And once we have this, let's go call the http.get. So this is a get request. Sorry, not the get request, it is the post request over here. So in the post request, let us put in the URL over here, and let's close it. And also we need to pass in the body over here. Let us pass in the body over here, and body, and in the body we'll just pass in the body that we are passing in. Okay, so that should be good over here. So once we have that, and let me arrange this one properly, and let's copy this particular function from here, or the code from here, and let's go down over here, and let's paste it over here, and let's make this one as the asynchronous function, and let's go down, let's paste it over here too, and this will be of the asynchronous function too, and let's go down over here, and let's paste it over here, and make this one as the asynchronous call over here too. And we just need to fix some of these, and the second one is to delete the right, and we need to pass in the queries over here, and we don't have to pass in the body over here. So for that, let's remove this one from here. Let us remove this, and let's pass the query parameters over here. So we have an option to pass in the, I guess it's in the query parameters that we can pass in from here, and let's pass in the query parameters, and that will be of the queries that we have. So let's pass in over here, and we have some error over here. So let's go to get URI. So we need to pass in the query and the query parameters. So what we have done is we don't have the named parameter over here, or the argument. So what we need to do is we'll pass in as the null over here, and then we will have the queries. So let's this one we need to change to the delete, right? So let's go back over here, and we'll take a look on the delete. So this is the endpoint that we need to copy from here. So endpoint will be from API to do delete to do. So just copy this one, and here delete and delete to do. I guess that should be fine over here. And once we have that, let's go down over here in the get the to do's over here. So here we just need to pass in the ID, and we don't need to pass in the body over here, all right? And we just need to pass in the over here. And this one we just need to pass in the path, and then path we are not passing in any query. So let's go and add that one over here, concatenate, and let's pass in the slash, and then we have the option to pass in the ID over here, and this one will be to get the to do. So just copy this function over here, and we are good to go over there. And once we have that, okay, so what we need to change is this should be of the get option. And let's go over here to this is the delete. We need to call the delete over here. Let's go down over here. So we have the delete, we have the get, and we have this should be of the put, right? So put over here, put. And we don't have to pass in the body over here. We need to pass in as the queries. So this one we need to update it to the update the to-dos over here, and we need to pass in the null value for our queries, and then we have the query parameters that will be of this one. Just copy this one and paste it over here. So that should be good to go, I guess. So we have the option to update it, and we have the option to get that particular to-dos, right? And then we also have the option to delete the to-dos over here and to add. And I guess we will also have one more endpoint. So let's go back over here, and once we have this, let's copy this function from here, and let's make it another function that we will get a single to do. So instead of the to do, we'll just get the single to do from here. This will return the paginated data, but this will return as the single to do. And let's go back to our implementation, and we need to implement that one more function. Let's override that, and I guess let's copy this one from here. So that will be the let's get the to-dos. So I'll just copy this one from here. Let me copy this code from here, and let's go down over here, and let me paste it over here. And let's make this one as the asynchronous function, and then what we have is we just have to remove this one, which is of the get the to-do, and we need to pass in the ID that we want to get, right? And this is also a get request. So I guess that should be fine for us, and we should be good to go to move on to the next step over here. So our API, our service class, is ready for ToDo. And in case if you are wondering why we created this interface over here, which is of the abstract class over here, and why we created this, and why we not just create a function directly over here instead of creating the interface over here. So we are trying to follow the clean architecture, and we are also following the solid principle. And if you are already familiar with the solid principle, we are implementing a dependency inversion principle over here. So if you are not familiar with the solid principle, just go and check out my solid course, and as well as I also have the Flutter advanced course where I have already mentioned all of those topics. So make sure you understand the solid principle first of all, and this is absolutely not required in the when you are creating just a simple application like the ToDo's application. But since we are trying to implement a clean architecture over here, we will be following some of the we will be following the solid principle over here. So I guess you got the point why we created this particular interface over here, and why not we just implement the function directly in our ToDo API service over here. So that's all, and let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.